Yes. Good morning mga kasama. Nandito na naman si Kuya Goods nagbabalik. At syempre, kung hindi ka pa nakasubscribe sa ating channel, pasubscribe na lang po at hit mo na rin yung bell para lagi kang updated sa ating mga video. O ano, i-bell nyo all. Bell all ha, para lagi kang may notification ha. Diyan sa mga, YouTube application nyo. Makikita nyo kagad yan. Pag nag-upload tayo, andyan kagad, automatic si Kuya Goods. Eto. Kaya naman pala galit na galit at gustong effort with anak ng tipakulong. Meron naman palang sama ng loob si Kuya. Alamin natin yan dito sa mga bali-balita. Pero bakit ganun? Anong nangyari? Bakit yung sama ng loob parang lumabas na? Ang mama, dating nasa partido, nabanggit natin yan, di ba? 'Di ba? Yung tatay niya ang dating ng partido ng PDP. Ngayon, kaya naman pala bawi buwelta, sabi ni Aling Ledesma, meron naman palang problema. Alam na natin kung sino talaga siya. Hindi natin siya kakampi. Alam niyo na taga Marikina, tatakbo ito. Kilala niyo ito, ibibigay ko sa inyo Para alam niyo ang detalye na hindi siya karapat-dapat na manalo, sabi ni Aling Maricar. Sino ito? Masakit ang bibitawan doon sa mga taong involved dito. Merong bagay-bagay na dapat tayong malaman kung ano ang tunay na pagkatao. Pero bago natin simulan ang ating talakayan at reaction, sang like, sang share. Samahan mo na subscribe at i-bell all mo para lagi kang nakakatanggap ng notification at update sa ating daily vlogs. Ito na.
Release po ng statement ng PDP Laban just an hour ago, dinedenounce po nila yung use nyo raw po ng party name doon sa letter sent to SP Chief. If I may read, Pimentel no longer has any legal or moral right to use the name PDP Laban because the COMELEC has ruled the finality on March 23, 2023 that the group led by PRRD is a true and legitimate PDP Laban. Therefore, only the group led by Duterte has the right to use the party name. Sir, kuha lang ng reaction niyo po. Thank you.
Yung kaso namin sa COMELEC was about the leadership of the party. Kasi nga pala ulo nila, sasabihin nila sa akin na hindi pa nila ako kinikick out sa party. Tapos aagal sila na andun pa sa existing stationery ko yung PDP Laban. Diba?
Yun naman pala. Meron naman palang usapan sa PDP Laban. Ano nangyari? Bakit? Sa tatay mo yan, di ba? Tatay mo ang nag-ano yan. Anong nangyari? Bakit ka kasi parang, ano ba talaga ang tunay? Gusto mo ba silang kakampi? O ayaw ka nilang kakampi dahil may nakikita silang hindi maganda? O ito ba isang ganap na pagbawi lang dahil gusto mong i-port with? Di ba mga kasama, ito lang ay kailangan nating malaman kung dapat ba siyang matulungan sa pagboto nyo. Lumabas na ang tunay na kulay ni Kuya. Tuloy natin
So may karapatan pa kayo sir na ganito?
Well, under dispute pa yung yung decisions ng COMELEC na sila Pusi naman ang nagwagi, under dispute pa sa Supreme Court. So, mari-reverse pa yan. But then at the same time, si Pusi mismo sinasabihan ako na hindi naman daw nila ako in-expel sa partido nila. Ayoko lang makasama sila, pero hindi nila ako in-expel. So, bakit aaral na yun sila kung gamit ko pa ang PDP Laban na partido ko naman tunay yan, partido ng father ko, at ako nagbumuhay niyan hanggang sa time ng kaso ng COMELEC.
Sir, sinabi rin po nila na refrain from misusing the name PDP Laban and misleading daw the Filipino people about your current party affiliation kasi daw po nag-transfer na kayo sa nationalista.
Well, yung nationalista certificate of nomination ko, that was with the National Assembly kasi kami ng PDP Laban ko. Yung wing ko, yung faction ko pa, yung originals. Nag-National Assembly kami and they gave me permission as well as si Senator Manny Pacquiao na for purposes of the May 2025 elections, we can use another party's honor. So lahat po yan anticipated na namin yan, lahat po yan na-covered na po. So we are still with PDP Laban. If in case we win the case of Supreme Court, we are ready to assume leadership, legally speaking, of our own party. But in the meantime, yung paggamit namin ng the other party's honor, allowed by our original faction of the PDP Laban in a National Assembly, very specific. Plus, alam din po nung hosting party. Alam.
So you are running under what party?
Nationalista Party.
PDP. So yung PDP.
Yan na ha. Nationalista Party pala siya si Kuya. Kaya naman pala, may ganun mga issue. Alam niyo ba kung sino yung mga nationalista party? Search natin ha kung ano yung nationalista party. Pero mamaya-maya may papakita ko sa inyong slide. May gustong umatras sa impeachment ni BP Sara. Sino ito? Mamaya. Search muna natin. Tuloy muna natin ito. Tapos search muna natin yung NP kung sino-sino yung grupo doon, ha?
Na ginagamit yung PDP laban, yung kanilang mga senatorial candidates, hindi nyo nilindorso.
Hindi. Hindi na pinindorso yun. May kaso pa kami sa Supreme Court.
Oo. And then, anong dating sa inyo, sir, ng mga nagiging parang patikadahan, batikusan, yung remarks?
Alam na natin kung sino yung mga nationalista party. Ito yung group ng mga ano. Sino ba ito? Ito yung mga ano. Yung maraming ari-arian. Anak ng bugi. Ito papakita ko sa inyo, ha? Ito yung mga... Partido rin pala ito ni ano? Pakita ko sa inyo, ha? Kaya naman pala gigil na gigil si Kuya. Partido rin pala siya ni... ito ang nationalista, ha? Wag na kayong magugulat, mga kasama. Ayan. To alliance with... Kaya, alam nyo na ang totoong kulay, ha? Iba ang kulay green sa kulay red, ha? Mga kasama, ha? Sila pala, kaya naman pala gustong madaliin. Si Kuya talaga, nagkunwari pa dati, akala natin kakampi, yung pala hindi. Lumabas din ang totoong kulay. Kulay pula pala siya, hindi siya kulay green, ha? Eto, sino yung may gustong, ang tawag dito, sino yung may gustong umatras sa impeachment ni BP Sara? Alamin natin sa kwento ni Robin. Para mas maganda, siya ang magkwento sa atin. Ano talaga ang usapan dito?
Ano kaya ang kahihinatnan ng babaeng ito na itinago ang kanyang asawa noon na may kaso? Ang babaeng naturing ang abogada pero nilabag ang kanyang profesyon at ang kapal ng pagmumukha. Siya pa ang lilitis kay Vice President Sara kung sakaling matuloy ang impeachment trial. Pero kabado na sila ngayon at sobra-sobra ang pagpapanik. Imaginein mo nga naman si Attorney Rodrigo Roa Duterte nakasuot ng judicial gown. The Art of War. The Marcos Romualdez camp is in panic mode because no former president in this country's history has ever acted as legal counsel in the Supreme Court until now. Just imagine Attorney Rodrigo Roa Duterte wearing a judicial gown and personally appearing as Vice President Sara Duterte's lawyer would be a highly unusual event, making it a major media spectacle. It could dominate headlines, and his involvement would make him the biggest legal and political event in the country. The public might focus more on Duterte's legal defense than on the merits of the impeachment case. Why? For several reasons. He has the strongest legal experience and inside knowledge. Before entering politics, Digang was a prosecutor for many years. His courtroom skills will be an asset in framing the case, and he knows how to navigate legal battles. He understands fully the Philippine judiciary, having appointed 12 of the 15 sitting justices. He is very familiar with their legal perspectives and reasoning styles. This knowledge allows him to craft arguments tailored to specific justices' tendencies. He is the best political strategist. His presence would almost certainly put psychological and political pressure on these justices. The magistrates will definitely face intense public scrutiny over how they will handle the case. If he can portray the impeachment as a political conspiracy, it could affect how justices justify their ruling. they may look for procedural reasons to dismiss the impeachment complaint. Finally, he is a great tactician and an expert in political warfare. His presence could shift the narrative from impeachment to political persecution. If he plays the father defending his daughter card, it might sway public opinion against the impeachment. His strongman image and direct confrontational style could put pressure on the judiciary. In the end, the justices may hesitate to issue an unfavorable ruling for fear of political backlash. Lesson: if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Isa rin sa dapat katakutan at abangan si Attorney Sheila Sison. Sino nga ba siya at ano ang kanyang mga credentials? The lead legal counsel of BP Inday Sara Duterte. Before joining the Fortune, Narvasa and Salazar law firm, Attorney Sheila Sison was a distinguished scholar of the country's science high school system. Graduating from Quezon City Science High School, she earned her undergraduate degree from the University of the Philippines Los Baños, obtaining a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts major in writing. During her time at UPLB, she founded and led multiple university organizations, served as Lady Chancellor of the UP Sigma Alpha Nu sorority, and held the position of opinion editor in the university's student paper. Her academic prowess extended beyond writing, as she was awarded Best Speaker and Best Campus Debater at the UP Campus Debate for 2 consecutive years. Attorney Sison pursued her Bachelor of Laws at San Sebastian College of Law, Recoletos, where she was a full academic scholar of the Recoletos Order. She consistently made the Dean's List, graduated as class valedictorian, and was the first recipient of the Academic Excellence Medal of Honor, awarded by the Recoletos Educational Apostolate of the Philippines. Her exceptional legal career is marked by a historic achievement, being named the firm's Lawyer of the Year for 4 consecutive years, 2015 to 2018, a testament to her dedication and excellence in the field. Attorney Sison specializes in criminal litigation and serves as lead counsel in multiple high-profile Sandigan Bayan cases. Her expertise extends beyond criminal law, with significant experience in civil litigation, family law, appellate practice, labor law, mining law, and corporate law. Beyond her legal career, she nurtures a deep passion for creative writing. In 2001, she was selected as a fellow in poetry at the Ateneo de Manila University National Writers Workshop. She is also an active member of the
Ayan wait lang mga kasama. Tignan natin Oo, kung ano yung sasabihin pa rito.
Philippine Dispute Resolution Center Incorporated. Another lawyer of VP Inday Sara, who is Attorney Lucas Carpio Jr. Attorney Lucas Carpio Jr. is a managing partner at Carpio and Belo Law Offices and has held various key positions throughout his legal career. He previously served as an independent director from Now Corporation and NOW Telecom Corporation, as well as manager of the litigation group at Security Bank and Trust Company Philippines. He also worked as a junior associate and Yulo and Belo Law Office and was a former director of Manila Jockey Club Incorporated. Attorney Carpio earned his undergraduate degree from De La Salle College and his law degree from Ateneo de Davao University. Beyond his professional credentials, Attorney Carpio comes from a powerful legal lineage. He is the brother of retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Conchita Carpio Morales, who was appointed Ombudsman in 2011 by former President Benigno Aquino III. He is also the husband of retired Court of Appeals Associate Justice Agnes Reyes Carpio. Most notably, Lucas and Agnes Carpio are the parents of Attorney Mans Carpio, the husband of Vice President Sara Duterte, further cementing their deep connections to the country's political and judicial landscape. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives will be represented by Congresswoman Louise Tro, who previously harbored her husband to evade arrest over a RAPE complaint, and Congressman Chua, who has repeatedly struggled to competently preside over Quadcom hearings, and others who cannot even articulate their thoughts well. Let the battle begin. Another prominent lawyer representing Vice President Sara. Let's get to know Attorney Philip Siegfried A. Fortune. Attorney Philip Siegfried A. Fortune is
So yung mga galing na abogado, mga kasama. Sila Atty. Carpio, Fortune, yan. Yung mga the best yan.
founding partner of Fortune, Narvasa and Salazar law firm, and a well-respected figure in Philippine law. A product of the public school system, he graduated from the University of the Philippines from high school through law school, earning his Bachelor of Laws degree in 1983. Before establishing his firm in June 1993, Fortune spent 9 years as an associate at one of the country's largest law firms, Sharp.
Ito, mapunta tayo dito kay Atty. JB. Raul Lambino. Oo, ano yung mga pagpapahayag niya dito? Kailangan natin malaman ito, mga kasama. Sabi dito, Korte Suprema, pwedeng makialam sa impeachment versus VP Sara? Ito ang sagot na pwede ba talagang makialam? Yan ang tanong. Ito.
Kasi question yung legality ng impeachment ni VP Sara.
Doon sa lower house, yung ginawa.
Yung ginawa sa lower house na bakit may 4 nang naisampang kaso eh. At 3 muna. Bakit itong pang-4 ay bigla na lang sinampa? I do not want to discuss on the merits. I have not seen the petition. I have not read the petition. But ang tingin ko, kasi personally, talagang sa tingin ko may violation eh. Yung ginawa ng house. Imagine that ang kapal-kapal ng kaso. How many pages, I really don't know kung ano. Hindi ko nababasa pa yung impeachment case. Pero yung mga evidence that were presented, ang kapal-kapal. Kaya ba nilang basahin yung 215 congressmen, yung ang kapal na ganito, in a matter of how many hours? 5 hours? 7 hours? Imposible yun. No? So, and that is a verified petition. Pag binerify mo, sinusumpaan mo yan, nabasa mo yan, at naintindihan mo yung pinipirmahan mo as a complainant. In this case, yung mga members of Congress. Ay, yan ang one reason behind that. And the other issue is, nagkaroon na ng mga naunang mga impeachment case na sinampa mga petition by other complainants, no? So these are issues that will be tackled and discussed by the. Kaya question nila yung legality ng
So-
pag-transmit itong 4th impeachment case doon sa
So it's legality. Gets
It
naman
is.
yun, attorney.
It is
Pero
Legal
kasi, attorney,
Mm.
ang tinatanong din siya nung iba,
Mhm.
kagaya na sinabi ni former SP Drilon,
Yes.
na hindi dapat nakikialam ang Supreme Court sa usapin ng impeachment case dahil ito ay sa Senado, authority ng Senado na
Mhm.
i-discuss yung impeachment. So bilang law professor din po,
Yes.
ano yung interpretation nyo doon? Tama ba na hindi makialam? Dapat bang makialam ang Korte Suprema? Hindi ba to posibleng mauwi sa constitutional crisis considering na magkaiba sila ng branch of government?
Well, I agree. Sumasang-ayon ko doon sa position na yan ni former Senate President Drilon. Ano? However, the reason behind that is this is a political question. This is an issue that can only be decided by the other chamber or department of government, which is the Senate. And unless, even if it's a political question, but if it is going to be somehow the exercise of power or non-exercise of power will amount to grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction, pwedeng makialam ang Supreme Court dahil under the doctrine of constitutional supremacy. Kasi kung violation ng Constitution yung ginagawa ng Senado or ng impeachment court as the sense of impeachment court, then under the doctrine of the supremacy of Constitution, pwedeng makialam ang Supreme Court because it's the Supreme Court that is the ultimate body which can interpret the provisions of the Constitution vis-a-vis acts or conduct of any government agency or department or entity, even that of the President of the Philippines, kung mali ang kanyang ginagawa.
Sundot ako, Chiki,
Yes.
before natin ipasa sa'yo. Pero nakakansawan si VP Sara ng mga netizen o kaya ng ilang mga partido na act of kaduwagan daw. Baka natatakot na daw. Sinasabi nila. Yun yung kansaw nila. Ano reaksyon nila pag kinakansawan sa nagano?
Normal yan sa political. Remember that this impeachment case is not really a purely legal case
Yeah.
or it's not purely a judicial case. It is more of a political case. Kaya andyan talaga yung kantsawan. May mga panig doon sa ginagawa ni Inday Sara, may mga hindi panig, mayroong nananawagan na mag-resign ka na lang, natatakot ka dahil malakas yung ebidensya laban sa'yo. Well, these are matters that can be traced out later on by the impeachment court, the Senate as an impeachment court. So, tignan na lang natin. Pero meanwhile, dahil meron na isang pangkaso, may nagsampa na pinapaapura sa Senado, gusto nang nag-file ng petition na ang Supreme Court manduhan ang Senado na mag-act na as an impeachment court. Na yun din ang gustong gawin ni Senator Coco. Na sa tingin ko hindi dapat, hindi pwedeng gawin yun. At meron din na ito, nag-file na ng petition si VP Sara na sinasabi na there is a violation in the process conducted by the House of Representatives nung sinampa nila yung impeachment case. So let's wait for the Supreme Court to make decision on this.
Ayan, narinig niyo yung pahayag ni Atty. Raul Lambino. Ngayon, naku, VP Defense, di pinayagan ng Constitution. Bakit? Alam niyo naman, ibang klase ngayon ang takbo, ang laro ng mga, yung mga nakaupo ngayon. Ibang klase. Bakit hindi niyo papayagan? Yan ang usap-usapan. Pero dapat yan, kayo na ang makaintindi at ano yung mga, yung mga babanggitin dito, lawakan niyo yung pag-iisip niyo kasi meron ho kayong maririnig na parang hindi kaaya-aya o yung iba ay kaaya-aya, ay alamin natin kung ano yung mensahe.
Wala pa man ang impeachment trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte, may pagtatalo na tungkol sa one-year ban sa mga impeachment proceeding. May argumento ang impeachment prosecutors at defense team ng Vice. Nakatutok si Tina Panganiban Perez.
Hindi pa man nagtatapat sa mismong impeachment trial, may banggaan na ng argumento ang defense team ni Vice President Sara Duterte at kanyang mga magiging taga-usig mula sa Kamara. Ang issue, nilabag ba ng Kamara ang probisyon sa saligang batas na isang impeachment proceeding lamang ang maaaring simulan laban sa isang opisyal sa loob ng isang taon? Ito ang isang basehan kung bakit pinatitigil ni Duterte ang kanyang impeachment trial sa Senado. May nauna na raw kasing 3 reklamo laban sa Vice ayon sa mga abogado nito.
The actions taken by the House of Representatives in respect of the 3 prior impeachment complaints before it decided to finally transmit what it purports to be a verified resolutions is something that is not permitted by the Constitution, particularly that one-year bar rule.
Pero sabi ng ilang impeachment prosecutor, hindi nagsisimula ang pagbilang ng isang taon sa paghahain pa lamang ng reklamo. Ang one-year ban daw ay nagsisimula kapag initiated na ang impeachment complaint. Batay nila yan sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema sa kasong Francisco versus House of Representatives.
Initiated under this Francisco case means the filing of the complaint endorsed by a congressman and referred to the Committee on Justice for proper disposition. So it is not the mere filing of a complaint that will trigger the 1-year period. So for us, there was no grave abuse of discretion. There was no lack of due process.
Kinwestiyon din ng kampo ng Vice kung pwede bang upuan ng Secretary General ang mga naunang 3 impeachment complaint.
You would recall that there were already pronouncements as early as December. There were 3 prior complaints that were filed. There were official reports and interviews and public pronouncements that were made by the Secretary General that supposedly these 3 complaints were already verified and ready for transmittal to the Speaker, but never did. And then suddenly, you see a 4th impeachment complaint that was suddenly referred to the Senate on the last day of the session. The question that we're asking respectfully the Supreme Court to decide is whether this is permitted.
Pagtitiyak ng Secretary General ng Kamara na ayon sa konstitusyon ang pag-transmit ng 4th impeachment complaint sa Senado. Sinagundahan niya ng mga impeachment prosecutor.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
Ito po hindi na first time na nangyari. Nangyari pa po ito nung panahon din po ni Presidente Erap. Ganon din po nangyari.
Sakaling di katigan ng korte, handa umano ang Vice na humarap sa impeachment trial.
Yung statement ni Vice President na she's willing to face whatever charges against sa kanya, I think hindi naman nagbabago yon. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na nag-file siya ng petisyon na ayaw na niyang humarap.
Para sa GMA Integrated.
Di ba? Ano yung ibang klase talaga? Pagka kapangyarihan ang ginagamit, marami silang dahilan. Di ba? Gusto lang ni VP Sara dyan, siyempre may 1-year ban. Nagpasa na kayo ng impeachment. May 3 na nga eh. Pwede ba yun? Tapos yung anak ng bugi naman, napakahirap niyong intindihin. Kaya naman pala, oo, ituloy natin yung usapin dito. Kung ano yung mga sinasabi ni Kuya. Kayo na ho ang bahala kung talagang gusto nyo pa yung kulay niya. Iba yung kulay kasi dati. Akala natin totoong kulay, hindi pala. Oo. Kulay pula pala si Kuya.
Ni former President Duterte na patayin nila yung limang senador para makapasok yung kanyang pambato sa senatorial race. Ano dating kayo, sir, no?
Delikado yung mga ganung salita, sana i-discourage.
Mhm.
Although sabi ko, paubayan na natin yan sa mga investigators, kasi pwede nga pasok talaga yan din sa sedition ba yun? When you call for violence against government officials, para pasok kasi yan sa definition ng sedition. So, paubayan na natin sa DOJ, sa NBI, in the totality of the circumstances, may kaso pa wala. Pero, i-ano natin yan, i-discourage natin yan. Mahirap isa sabihin, joke lang. Kung mag-research kayo, may kaso naman sa Australia. Yung may dalawang nurses na of Arab origin, nag-anti-Jewish sentiment sila sa online. Ngayon, binabalikan sila sa illa joke only. Sabi ng mga Australian law enforcers at government officials, hindi pwedeng bayaan natin itong mga ganitong delikado mga pananalita ng calling for violence, and sasabihin mo joke only.
Kasi ba yung joke nga? Yung pag-joke
I-discourage natin ito at wag natin ito parang i-encourage. Kaya how do you discourage an act? Sometimes kinakasuhan mo yan para ma-discourage.
Sir, follow-up po lang presidential, sir.
Wala namang, ang former president, wala na pong immunity also.
Sir, the mere fact na dating ang Pangulo, dapat hindi natin inaasahan yung mga ganung pananalita.
Ayun na, pero ng Pangulo siya, madalas din natin marinig yun.
Sir, di ba yung Presidential Decree 1727 again penalizes
Dati yung-
bomb jokes?
Dati, nung Pangulo si Tatay Digong, kung todo ka Ngayon, iba na ang pronounce. Ibang klase si Manong.
Yes. So, meron pa
So
siya.
pwede siya doon.
I do not know the context of bomb joke. Yata, bomb, anywhere ba yan? Or in the airport context? Yeah.
Anywhere, sir. Mukhang anywhere. If I'm understanding this right,
I am no longer familiar with that. So yun na, kaya sabi ko, the DOJ, the FBI must be more familiar with all of the other criminal laws.
Okay,
Sir, hindi factor kung na-feel threatened yung mga senators. Kasi for example, si SP, ang sinasabi niya, hindi naman sila na-threaten, yung mga senador, wala naman nagko-complain among the senators, so dapat wala na itong kaso yan.
Hindi naman ito parang private crime. Alam mo yung mga prinsipyo sa private crime lang yan, na kailangan yung tao mismo apektado ang magreklamo. So this is actually in the nature of a public crime. If it is a crime, kaya i-ano ko na muna, wala akong expertise na doon sa bomb joke law. So just give us time in research din po namin. Pero sana ginagawa na ng DOJ at saka ng NBI yung research.
so baka masabi niya dapat be discouraged yung ganung mga statement, pero knowing the former president, hindi po kayo na-threaten sa ganung pahayag ng dating Pangulo.
Hindi ako threatened na sinabi niyo. Ang problema kasi is may mga followers yan.
May danger, sir.
Hindi mo, hindi na alam sa yung iba, hindi joke yan.
Sir, nagsabi na po kasi NBI na hindi naman nila i-investigahan.
Hindi ko na i-micromanage ang NBI kung ayaw ng NBI. So be it.
Pero sa yung mga negative campaigning, according kasi kay Pamaleka Commissioner George Garcia, under Omnibus Election Code, parang inaalaw yan. Do you think it's about time i-amend ang Omnibus Election Code para
Ito,
ma-dissuade yung mga negative campaigning?
yung positive, ito nga, napansin ko na yung negative campaigning kung pag research ko na noon pa, 3 elections ago pa, 4 elections ago. Yung positive campaigning, kailangan mo identify sarili mo, di ba? Kunyari, mag-aalagay ka ng ad, magagawa ka ng mga printed materials, paid for, then the candidate paid by, then the AO plus the name and address. Dapat ang negative campaign ganun din. Kung sakaling i-place ang mga negative campaign, kasi tama siya, pagbasa ko rin yung election code doon, allowed. But, ang problema nila, pinapayagan nila yung mga pailalim na tira eh. Dapat, pag may negative campaign, kaya labas yun na rin. Dapat nandun, paid for and paid by. Pero malabo yung paid for, siguro paid by. Kasi it's against a candidate. Ilabas. Dapat hindi pwede nakatago. Because it is actually allowed.
So okay na allowed din sila.
Pero proper na negative campaign. Wag botohin si, hindi, pero wag yung mga chismis.
Eto, dito na talaga natin alam na hindi natin kakampi ito. Matagal din nagkunwari si Kuya. Kaya kayo na ho, musga. Kaya lagi natin sinasabi sa inyo, ngayong Mayo, alam nyo na, buti nagkakaroon ng mga gantong, update o vlog, no? Nalalaman natin kung sino yung totoo, sino yung bumabatikos at gustong sumira sa mga Duterte. Lumabas na rin ho talaga ang totoong kulay nila. Wala na ho tayo magagawa rito, talagang ganon. Matagal din siguro siya nagkunwari, ha? Sabi ni Aling Marie, talaga naman, ibang klase. Taga Marikina, gising ka na ba? Eto na, alam nyo na, taga Marikina. Nasa inyo mga kamay, kung bibigyan nyo pa ng pagkakataon. Wala naman tayo magagawa. Kayo lang ang magsishade na ng sa ballot box, di ba? Ganun lang kasimple yun. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, kung hindi ka pa nakasubscribe, mag-subscribe ka na. Huwag ka nang pahuli sa mga balita, issue at reaksyon ng bayan. Hanggang sa mali. Bye-bye!